We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
Hello and welcome to Liberty Nation Radio, heard coast to coast on the Radio America Network. I'm your host, Mark Angelides. On today's edition, we are talking everything within the Beltway and beyond and examining the economic substructures that are currently holding up the economy. It's going to be quite the show. Please remember, Liberty Nation Radio is sponsored by LibertyNation.com, where you can access podcasts, breaking news analysis, and a range of biting and brilliant shows to whet your appetite for freedom and your fondness for the great American Constitution. Welcome, and you're on Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides, and we're joined by Liberty Nation's chief political correspondent, Mr. Graham J. Noble. Thanks for coming in, Graham.
My pleasure, Mark. Good to be here.
So, for me, this whole political week has been defined by the self-immolation tour of the Democratic Party. And I'm no fan of either party particularly, but it does sadden me somewhat to see what great depths the Democratic Party, that has been a good party in its time. I mean, let's move forward past the KKK years, of course, but in their time they have been a decent party. But now it's almost like ritual humiliation of themselves is the modus operandi for how to function as the opposition government. Graham, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that this isn't really happening.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, Mark, but I just can't do that. I mean, it is insane. I mean, when you think, and like you said about the Democratic Party as a whole, now, I've never been personally in line with their ideology, but nevertheless, there was a time when they were at least kind of rational and reasonable and regardless of whether or not you like their policies, they were doing things properly, and they were operating better as a party. They were operating more efficiently. They knew how to reach out to the voters. They knew how to play the political game. And now it seems like they've forgotten how to do that. I mean, Trump has just driven them all so completely, I won't use the word I was going to use, but so completely crazy that they seem to have forgotten how to do politics.
It's not just politics, though, is it? It's communication as well. I mean, you've got, I know a lot of people thought that Barack Obama was the great communicator, but for my money, Bill Clinton was always better at speaking.
I would agree. I would agree with you on that. I think Barack Obama was way overrated. He's very good at, kind of reciting a written speech and parroting it and putting enough inflection in it to make it sound like he was saying it off the top of his head.
Yeah.
But really, he wasn't a great off-the-cuff speaker. Nothing like Trump. But yes, even
Bill Clinton is a
better speaker. Yeah.
So there's this thing about communication, and what we're seeing now is just it's communication in completely the wrong way. And for those of you who do spend time on X, there's a meme with Steve Buscemi going to a high school. How do you do, fellow kids? And this is really what seems to be happening. And the comms, I'm assuming it's the comms director for the party who's overseeing what social media platforms, what kind of videos they're putting out. But we had a bunch of ladies from the Democratic Congressional Caucus acting out like a Street Fighter bouncing image. Choose your fighter. I'm not sure who that's trying to appeal to, because I guess that hasn't been around for anybody who's under 45. That's probably not even culturally relevant.
Those people, the people that they are trying to reach out to, which is the youngest kind of strata of voters or soon to be voters, those people don't even remember that particular video game. I'm sure that was so long ago.
Yeah. And then there was this video out of Representative, I think she's from Connecticut. It's Rosa DeLauro, and she's in her 80s. You'll recognize her. She's the lady with the purple hair. That's it. Yeah. And she's in a video, face to camera, walking through Congress. And I'm going to quote some words here, but hey there, I'm the head Rizzler of the Appropriations Committee. Skibbity. Now, this to me, an 80-year-old woman who's supposed to be somebody admirable, somebody to look up to, somebody to even emulate for the nation's young women to, achieve a position in the United States Congress. That's something. That means something. And she's wandering around saying the word skibbity as if A, she knows what it even means. B, the people who are actually going to hear this know what it really means. Because there's very few young kids walking around thinking, I wonder what my Connecticut congresswoman's up to. And they check her out on social media. And it's just, it's humiliating to such a degree that I feel very, very bad for members of the party whose communications team are insisting that they engage in this drivel. Graham,
Yeah, I mean,
what's the comeback?
It's embarrassing on every level because it's not. They're literally not getting any part of it right. You can't even look at the Democrats' efforts now to remain relevant, and you can't even say, well, they've got that bit right, but they're not quite doing that bit. They just need to tweak this, tweak that. No, they need to just start again from scratch because it's like they don't know how to message. They don't seem to understand who they're trying to get with the messaging. But, they literally don't. I guess it's like, if to be a successful company, you've got to know your potential, you got to know your customers and your potential customers, and you've got to know how to communicate with them. They don't even seem to know who their potential customers are, what their potential customers want. They don't know how to talk to them. It's so, I don't even know where to begin.
I'll take that analogy one step further, Graham. I like that analogy. They're also a company that isn't entirely sure what they're selling.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
So it actually on
the
that
message basically seems to be this, Mark, is okay. We don't know who our customers are, and we also, as you said, we don't really know what we're selling them. All we know is that they're not buying it because they're stupid and racist.
I'd say that sums it up very well. I mean, that would actually be better messaging than what's coming out from the comms team at present. But there's I think something indicative of this lack of awareness of what they're trying to be, and it's important. I think it really is important that the Democrat Party as a whole figure out precisely what it is, because it's bad for the country to have one party. One functioning party. It's terrible for the country, in fact, to have only one functioning party. And what we've seen is that there appears not to be any coalescing of ideas that aren't, what's the right way to say it, subject to an ideological purity test. And I think we saw this with Senator Chuck Schumer recently, who bit the bullet, as it were, and voted for the continuing resolution to keep the lights on in government. And then all of a sudden you have a number of representatives in the House, Democrat representatives in the House, clearly avoiding answering the question about whether Chuck Schumer should be booted out on his rear end and whether Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez should primary him and get him out of office entirely. And that they're being so coy about it. When really, I mean, a party that's united, that's trying to do something, to be an effective opposition, should be saying, Chuck Schumer's our leader. He's done a great job for X many years, however many years he's been in there. And he deserves our respect, and he's got it, and we've got his back. They should be saying that if they want to do anything effective. But why aren't they? What's happening with this internecine warfare?
Well, I think it's very simple. And you said a moment ago something that is absolutely true, which is that it's very bad for any country when there is only one functioning party. But here's the problem. Not only are Democrats, the Democratic Party, not only is it dysfunctional at the moment, but also most Democrats, and I'm not going to say all of them because there are a few there who are still haven't completely lost their minds, but most of them, their basically platform right now is based on one simple thing: we will not engage at all with the Trump administration. We will not compromise on anything. We won't even discuss the possibility of compromising with Trump and his administration, and so therefore kind of almost by extension then with congressional Republicans. So, okay, yes, it's bad to have only one functioning party, but it's just as bad if one of the parties, the opposition party, is simply not even willing to engage at all. And you see, that's the thing with Chuck Schumer. You know, they're just now kind of lambasting him and kind of like distance themselves from him simply because he decided to avoid a government shutdown, which Democrats have always said that's like a terrible, terrible thing. You can't shut down the government. And so Chuck Schumer chose to actually support a continuing resolution that was also supported by President Trump. And that is the reason why now, so literally, it's like the Democratic Party is literally saying, if anyone in our party does anything at all that kind of is even vaguely in alignment with Donald Trump, then they're dead to us. And that's crazy.
Well, it's actually worse than that. Chuck Schumer had a book come out last week. I think it was Anti-Semitism in America or something, and he had to shut down his proposed book tour or reschedule it because of threats of protest. Now, these are not Republicans going out protesting Chuck Schumer writing a book on anti-Semitism. These are Democrats going out, planning to go out and approach them, so much so that for safety reasons they have to pull his book tour, and that's a fairly shameful day. We're going to be back with Graham J. Noble after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.